I guess I was always like the skillful one, really. To be honest, you were a little bit awkward.
Yeah, we were very different people. Like, I wanted to be inside doing my hair and she would never play with me. So only thing that we had in common was sport, and I suppose it was a nice middle ground and common ground for us.
Sport has the power to show everyone, no matter who you are or what you are, that it is okay to be you and to be, you know, part of that community. And when you see players that you look up to, men or women, whoever it is, like playing on the field, and you look down at their boots and you see laces that are rainbow coloured, it just, like for me, it probably just gives me like that sense of pride that it's okay. And I think for other people, like who aren't gay, whatever that may be, that they see, oh, like look at these players that are supporting this cause, and they think that they're okay with it, so why can't I be okay with it? So it just broadens their horizon, because, you know, sport has the power to do that.
Lace up with pride this June and support Belong to Youth Services by purchasing rainbow laces from Elvery's.
There you go. And if you've seen any of the action that Ms. Considine has been putting in on the rugby field over the last couple of months, you're not going to want to turn her down. So get on board, lace up with pride, get your laces from Elvery Sport. And as we were hearing there, it's not about only wearing them if you are LGBTQ. It is about wearing them if you support equality in general. One person who does, working for an organisation that undoubtedly does, is Lisa Bergin. Lisa, you're very welcome to Sport for Business this morning.
Thank you for having me, Rob. It's good to be here.
I was wondering what rainbow element was going to be part of your potential wardrobe coming on, having seen Nikki.
It was hard to follow Nikki, in fairness. I did consider running.
Recognise that, and you absolutely nailed it. Well done. Tell me a little bit about Lace Up with Pride, first of all, before we go a little bit deeper into Aviva's longer term moves in this area. When did the campaign launch? What can we do to get involved, and where was the momentum? Where was the initiative coming from in the first place?
Sure. Well, I suppose we have, as you mentioned, a bit of heritage with supporting Pride and Pride Month over the last couple of years. And as part of our sponsorship portfolio, we obviously have the stadium, which is a fantastic asset. So what we love to do around this time every year is to kind of bring all of our partners together. So we lit up the stadium the last 2 years, and it's been fantastic. And we're going to do that again this year. But I suppose when it came to kind of brainstorming what we would do for this year, we realized kind of, well, firstly, that we're, hopefully more than one trick ponies, and that there is more we can do to help and to support and kind of to, gain momentum. So this year is obviously pretty unusual in that at this time, clubs and at all levels, I suppose, are just returning to sport. So that could just be five-a-sides or training, at elite level, or just, with friends. So what we wanted to do was tap into that and to kind of just, I suppose, remind people as we return to sport that, that we can open back up with pride, to kind of remember that diversity inclusion message. So Rainbow Laces has been a campaign. What is it they say? There's no such thing as a new idea, but it has been a campaign that it's been in the UK for the last number of years, and it supports Stonewall, but it's obviously not here. So what we wanted to do was to again bring all of our partners together. So this has been quite an interesting one, because it obviously brings the stadium, it brings the IRFU, the FAI, and also Elvery's too, who are a sponsor of both the IRFU and the FAI together. So it really is kind of a meeting of minds. So that's where that came from. And I suppose what we want to do by this campaign is kind of tap into allyship, you know, you may be a member of the LGBTQ plus community, or you may not, but you can be an ally, and there's so much strength in being an ally. And I think, as Aidan mentioned earlier, from Sporting Pride, obviously, is that, you know, Ireland has been fantastic and we've made great strides, but in this area, in sport, kind of the more we go into this, the more we realize that there's a lot been done, but there is a lot more to do as well. So we're happy, I suppose, to have ongoing support in this area. We think it's important. I think as a brand, it's nice to go out with big statements in June every year and to change your logo. But, you know, isn't it even more powerful if you are consistent with your support and go out each year with this message? So that's, I suppose, what we're looking to achieve this year with this campaign.
Well, these laces, when we get them, they should last a year, because it's going to be a lovely, bright, sunny summer, and then the winter won't be too bad as well, so they won't get too destroyed. I wonder, have you heard any anecdotal feedback coming from conversations that have been sparked by people who are wearing the laces? Because it's likely that there are going to be references made to them, and some of those might not be positive, but at least it will be out there and the conversation will start. Are we too early in the campaign to really sort of capture that, or is it something that you'd consider diving a little bit deeper into? Because I'd love to hear some of those conversations that are happening on the pitch and how somebody will actually bounce back to make it a positive rather than a negative one.
It's a good question, Rob, and maybe we are a little bit early into the campaign to see this, but it's been interesting, you know, as we kind of approach different people, or, you know, different teams and that type of thing. And I don't want to say we've been met with resistance. There hasn't been resistance, but at the same time, I think it's important conversations to be initiating. Sometimes, you know, clubs or teams may not have considered this before. Like, is this something that our team should support? Or, you know, it's certainly been a lot easier with females, but I think that's symptomatic of sport in general. So it's hopefully going to start positive conversations, and that's what we really hope to gain out of this campaign. You know, it's hopefully something that can grow legs and continue maybe next year and beyond. But this year, I suppose, is the time to open up these conversations and to have them, as tricky as they may be. But as I mentioned before, I think allyship is really key here. It's not, you know, by wearing the laces, you're not necessarily saying that you are gay, for example. You are, you know, you are an ally, or, you know, you may have a sibling that is in the LGBT community, you know, or it's just to really, I suppose, change people's mindsets, and that's what we're here to do. So hopefully, you know, if I'm talking to you this time next month, Rob, I can tell you about some of the progress that we've made in this space as a result of the campaign.
Yeah, hopefully so, because you're absolutely right. That phrase of allyship is so hugely important, and you don't need to know somebody who is in that position, although chances are that you will. But the reality is that if you support an open society, if you support equality in any way, then you have to do this. You have to support, you know, the open ability of anybody to love anybody else. It will be interesting, and I think that it's the people that we can bring on board that, you know, that are listened to by those who might be, you know, on the wrong side of history with this. I recall with the Emerald Warriors from Bank of Ireland, we did an event a couple of years back now, and Rory Best came to speak at it. And Rory Best, you know, he was the captain of the Irish rugby team. He is a proud Ulsterman. He is of farming stock. You know, the kind of people who you could imagine being resistant to the idea of opening up to Pride, you know, would listen to him and would consider him to be one of their own. And the fact that somebody like him is happy to come out and just say, you know, honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind if you love a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. I'm good with that. I treat you as a human being regardless. And I think those are the kind of conversations that we can do here. We mentioned earlier on that you do have heritage in this. You've lit up the stadium, you've done it well. What I love about the work that you do from Aviva as well, though, is that this is driven very much from an internal perspective. This isn't just marketing. It's not just a badging exercise, which, you know, some have been accused of in the past, but this is driven from your own community, and I've met a number of them at the various different events. Tell us a little bit about how that came to have a really positive influence on your side and on the sponsorship and marketing.
Sure. So when I joined Aviva, I realized that probably the most active internal committee we have, obviously we have many, but the most active was the Pride Committee. There was a lot of internal work done on an annual basis, particularly around Pride Month, but it kind of spanned the year as well, which was great to see. So yeah, the work had been consistent and it had been happening for years, and it was really employee led. So it wasn't, you know, a commercial decision taken by the business, and that continues to be the case. That's not it. It's kind of for our people mostly. We have what I call our North Star metric, and it's our Voice of Aviva survey each year. So it's basically that people can come to work and feel that they can truly be themselves. So I think that's really important, and that's what we try to achieve internally. We want people to come to work and just focus on doing their job and doing it well, not focus on their energy on you know, on trying to hide who they are. So I suppose when it came to, you know, what we did externally, we wanted to kind of mirror what we kind of had internally. We wanted to, you know, everything that we did with our sponsorships and with our partners to be out there and to say, you know, you can spend energy being yourself, not hiding it. So I think there's a lot of parallels when it comes to both business and sports. So I suppose that's why both have worked quite well together. And that's the message that we've had throughout. So yeah, it's all employee driven, and it's driven by our internal committee as well. So we've had the backing of the company throughout, and it's been fantastic. And we now, as we are governed by the central bank, diversity and inclusion is now one of our key business objectives. You know, it's built into the fabric of our business, but I suppose it was great that we had already made such strides in this area. So I think as a brand, if you do good things and, you know, if you really believe in it, you know, only good things can come from that. So I suppose we're an example of that, really, how we had made progress in this space before it actually became, you know, a key business objective for us.
Perfect answer to the question, which has been asked anonymously, that you've got heritage. How tricky can it be for brands and sponsors to actually genuinely want to show? Was it something at the outset that you were nervous about? I remember speaking to the team from Vodafone up at our Sport for Social Good event up in Northern Ireland 18 months ago, and they were worried. Bank of Ireland were worried that they would be accused of rainbow washing, sometimes from within the LGBTQ community. Was it something as a business that you were conscious of? And was there anything that you did then that might be helpful to others who want to get involved but are a little bit wary?
I probably have alluded to this already, in the sense that we had those exact fears, and we did get that kind of response. And I suppose even if you follow any of the thread of what we have on social media, you see that people do go out with this. They say, you know, if they see that you've posted something on it, they say, you know, this is typical corporate, you know, rainbow washing. But I suppose from what I said is that, you know, the more consistent you are with this, the more you commit to this, and you come out each year with it, and it shows that you do mean it. You know, you're not just going out with it this year because it's a trend. To us, it isn't a trend. You know, this is just the way we operate our business, and that's how we want our customers and kind of for people in Ireland to view us. We want them to think of us as a diverse and inclusive brand. And, you know, it's, as I mentioned before, you know, employer brand is really important as part of this. So we want Aviva to be a place where people want to come and work. We want Aviva to be a brand that you think of positively. So, you know, it's important for us to do these things and to do them consistently. So what I would say to any brands that are considering it, you know, if you are thinking of going out this June or whenever, or changing your logo, you know, what's the substance to back that up? You know, is what you're doing internally mirroring what you're doing externally as well? So it's, I suppose, to be as consistent as possible, and to build it into your long-term strategy as well. Don't just say we're going out with it this year. Like, say, okay, for the next 5 years, we'll do X and we'll commit to this, and then we'll review it after that. So I think that's the biggest learning we've had, is that if you go out, you need to stay out.
Do the right thing, keep on doing it, even in the slings and arrows that may come towards you at the time. I think that's it's a very good sporting analogy, and it's one that you've expressed very well there. You're doing a great job on it. Congratulations to Aviva once again. Every
Thank
year
you.
it appears that you are the gold star candidate from within the corporate world. Thankfully, though, there is opposition around now, so others are definitely coming out. And you're right, that point of of just putting a rainbow on your social media, your social media identity, but then not actually following through on that. That's going to be called out, and it rightly should. But do it, and do it genuinely, and good things that you do will lead to good things happening. So congratulations on that, and thanks again very much for Lisa. We will come back to you on that question of the laces, and maybe any research that comes back from the response that people have had, all in good time. But for the moment, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.